And already one little step is a big victory. And we will cheer this person as if they've done 100 steps, because this is the compassion part. It's not that no matter what someone is doing, oh, you failed again, oh, that's okay. No, that's not it. But let's see why you cannot commit. What is holding you back from there?
Lucie and Vanessa has together built a business of supporting LGBTQIAS plus individuals through group coaching in order to live a happy and fulfilled life that's true to themselves. And Lucie being a certified life coach and Vanessa a certified body coach. Together they are able to bring small changes into your current behaviors or mindset that keeps you from moving forward to be the person that you want to be. And they call themselves the Coming Out Coaches, and today they are here to discuss what they do and how they are able to help so many different individuals. And so with that said, I have to say thank you and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's great to be with you.
Of course. And it's always I'm always nervous doing these introductions because I'm kind of putting the guest into a very small box and I'm summarizing it in a very short few sentences, but hopefully I summarized you well enough. But
very well.
I'm glad to hear. But that said, I'm sure you know yourself way better than I do, obviously. And so I would love to hear, who are you two?
Yeah, you want to start, Lucie?
Me? Okay, I will start then. So I'm Lucie. I was born in Athens, Greece, from a Greek father and a French mother. I'm gonna jump really, really fast to the crucial moments, but of course there are millions of stuff around that. So I finished an American school, and then I studied to become a hairdresser. This was 20 years ago. And then at the age of 22, I was diagnosed with MS. And initially I had lost the ability to walk, so I had to start over slowly. And then I had to figure out my new life. So I thought, all right, this is the new situation, what do I do now? So I had to find a sustainable solution as a profession. And then I decided to become a librarian, which I studied about that, librarian and archives. So then, when I was ready with my new profession in hand, in Greece, there was this financial crisis that started really intensely, so I could not find a job. And I took all my courage and decided to leave my country with the hope of finding something better. And this is where I had the first hop on, hop off to Italy. And then I ended up in Switzerland, where I had the opportunity to have some fantastic jobs as an archivist. And then when everything was settled, I had everything, I had a life in Switzerland, a stable job. But then when I was going to bed at night, I was feeling that something is missing. I was not feeling fully fulfilled. My gut was telling me that there is more. So this is when I was already with Vanessa, we were together, and I said, help me, what can I do with my life? I love what I'm doing now, but there's still something missing. And we decided together, actually, that it was a good moment for me to go back to school and study to become a life coach. And since then, I have not regretted it at all. I'm so happy that I followed my gut. And this was my new path, and I hope my permanent path, because this is what brings me so much joy to support others. So in a tiny nutshell, this is my life.
That's quite the journey. You've been all over the place. Okay, and you, what's your journey?
Yeah, so my journey comprises a bit less kilometers, but also some stations. So I'm originally from Germany, in the southern part, Bavaria, where I studied computer science. So I felt much more comfortable at that time with the computer instead of with human beings, let's say. And then I just started to work, and I moved from there to Berlin, which was already kind of, I think I wanted already to escape from this small town I was in a process of finding myself. I was single for like 10 years or something, not knowing, where is this dream guy? Until I realized at the age of 35 that actually it's a dream woman that I have to look for. And so better late than never. And
Of course.
I started to catch up, to explore this LGBT community in Berlin, which is a great place to do this because it's a very open city. You have so many opportunities and places to go out and so on. And this is also where I met then my first girlfriend, who soon after wanted to move to Switzerland for her profession. And I decided to follow her. And I went here to Switzerland then like 5 years ago. I did my PhD combining computer science and my other passion, which is actually sports and the human being in terms of physiology and the body itself. And from this point, I thought, okay, let's also continue the sports direction. And I educated myself through certifications to become a fitness trainer. I am now also recently a nutritional coach because I discovered that these two things belong so much together. You cannot eat only, chocolate and chips all day and then work out. I mean, it works, but not as good as if you also adapt your nutrition to achieve your maybe physical goals. And I'm still in a corporate job. I actually started a new position at a university. And at the same time, I started also I discovered that I want also to support other people with what I have as knowledge around sports. And recently I started another certification, which is called Z-Health. It's a neurocentric approach, which we discovered, Lucie and me, this year, which helped Lucie so much in improving her symptoms of the MS, which helped me so much in improving my posture, where I felt I'm on a plateau for maybe 5 years. And different things. So I want to give you a short insight of what this is, because probably no one has heard of it before.
Yeah, of course.
So the theory behind it is that everything that you have done, everything that you felt, that you thought, actually is an output of your brain. And this is how I also started to go into this approach, because I was thinking for Lucie, if her disease, it's something that starts in the brain, why not trying to treat it directly there? And the same for physical performance, for example, if you want to get faster or stronger or improve your balance system, why not give you already exercises that improve your functionality in the brain that is responsible for all the movement. And so this is what I'm doing right now. And it's also, really fascinating how it can help you with pain, for example, because pain is also, it's not an input that we receive pain from sensors in our hands or feet. It's actually an interpretation of sensor signals, an interpretation of the brain, and an output. So we have the control to change this. And this is how we can have with this approach also many people that are in pain. So
it's super interesting.
Yeah.
It's I'm sure it's a deep subject you could dive even further into. But you two together have a business supporting LGBTQIAS plus people. And first of, I think I know what it stands for, but I'm sure there are people that doesn't know what it stands for. So if you could explain.
Of course. So first of all, I know it will sound ridiculous as soon as I say it. We don't believe in labels.
Okay.
But the reason we are using for now still some labels, which I'll explain to you what each term means, is more so everybody feels included until the day that we are really all treated equally. Okay, this is our goal, that there are no boundaries, no terms, there's nothing beginning and ending. We are all human beings, and this is it, which we are still, of course, this is what we are already, but we still need to clarify a little bit, so everybody who feels an outsider for any reason feels included. So L, lesbian, G, gay, LG, oh my goodness, I cannot even say it. Oh, there. Bisexuals, transgenders, questionings, intersexes, asexuals, and the S, it's for straight, which is for, we added it. It's not even in the classic alphabet of these terms, because for our approach, we want to include heterosexual individuals that are living in the close environment to, for example, of a lesbian or for a transgender individual, and they wish to work together to make this relationship even stronger. So this is why we want to invite also the straight people.
Yeah, I love that. No, sorry, you go.
It could be also, for example, the parent that says, my son or my daughter just told me that they are homosexual. I don't know what to do with it. I want to support them, but I feel difficulties to talk with them, or I don't know how to behave towards our neighbors or whatever it is. So when we are, for example, lesbians, and we also have to somehow take the perspective of, for example, our parents or our siblings, that when we come out, it's also a new information for them, especially in my case, where it was like at the age of 35. So they were thinking, well, from where is this coming from? So I think we also have just the responsibility to be to show compassion towards them and empathy, and also understand that since we had a process going on in us that led to this outcome, that they might also need some time and some to process this information as well. So this is where we can also support them.
Yeah, I love that you say that, because I feel like, at least in a lot of circles and in a lot of conversations around the different views on sexuality, there's not a lot of actual conversation going on. There's, at least in my personal opinion, I feel like there's mostly just screaming on both sides, and that's never gonna lead to any kind of productive conversation and any kind of progress in towards a positive future. And so, why, for you two personally, why do you feel like you have to? Why do you want to help these individuals? In short.
Because I think that they don't get enough attention, they don't get enough opportunities to be heard and to explore what's inside of them. It's always about shutting them up, and I don't want to shut them up. I want to give them voice, give the opportunity to talk, but also a healthy talk, a conversation that will bring somewhere. Not exactly like you said before, like it's not as to scream or to yell or to get it out of yourself, like being angry, you know, which they have many reasons to be angry. I'm not debating on that, but still to handle this in a more calm way, in a more peaceful way, that they feel good about themselves. They're not ashamed of who they are, because they shouldn't, they have absolutely no reason. And to wanna build up and say, okay, this is who I am, feel already strong and so, powerful about this is who I am. I know who I am. I know what I want. And move on and take the rest of their loved ones along with in their journey. This is why we want to focus on these individuals, to give them this opportunity to handle it differently. For those who don't have the opportunity, to not be with an approach of anger, but an approach of love, first of all, towards themselves, and then how can they make their everyday life better?
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. And has this always been like a passion for yourself? I mean, obviously, it's more of a passion when you have experienced it yourself. And coming from a straight person's point of view, has it always been a topic that's passionate to both of you? Or is it something that has come with the years of like experiencing different events? Or has it just gradually happened with time?
Yeah, so if I talk about myself, when I was thinking of, first was the idea of coaching and supporting others in a more meaningful and deeper way. And then the first group of people that I would like to help that came into my mind was the LGBTQIAS plus community. So, and this is because when I came out first to myself, I went into this community and I had such a warm welcome, and it was like a safety net to me. So I feel very grateful for the experiences that I could make, that I just would like to give. First, I would like to give back to these people because I feel really grateful for what I have experienced in the last years. And and I think it's some point where it's a good point to start as well.
Yeah.
And as you said, since we experienced it on our own, we are like our own experts on this topic already. And I think this is always good to start with something that you have experienced yourself.
Definitely. Yeah. And
And can I add one point? It took me so many years, and for some while I was also angry at myself, and I regretted a lot, like, oh, I wasted my whole 20s to, I don't know, explore life. And if there is anyone that I can help to be faster than I was, I would be very, very, very happy.
Yeah. So it's, I guess, what I get from it is you want to help other people to not go through what you went through and do it in a faster, more efficient way.
Exactly.
And you call yourself the coming out coaches, and how you, from my understanding, you coach individuals on life, basically. But how do you coach these individuals? Because coaching can be a lot of different things. Coaching can be all the way from the right to the left and to the middle to the back. So how is it that you coach? How do you go about it?
Can I start?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, the coming out coaches is, as you very well managed to put it together with your two parts of sentences, is coming out to life. This is it. It's not only coming out as a classic, the LGBT, we say coming out of the closet or something that is only about the sexuality, but it's coming out to whatever is holding you back and live your life fully. And our approach is the biggest, let's say, umbrella of all is self-care and conversations. So this is wide, okay? This is very big. And under this, we have our approaches. I would like to talk about mine for a minute, and then V, you can add yours. Okay. So for me, that I'm specialized in mind coaching. I want to make sure that you know who you are. Who are you? What do you want? What do you need? There are so many questions that people don't know. I didn't know. I was just like robotically living with what society had imposed me somehow, without even knowing I was doing it. I was somehow following a path that this is the right thing, which could be very right, but not for me. So my approach to start with is understand, who are you? What do you want? And what you don't want? So this is the mind coaching approach from my side, is sessions that we put little goals and you say, oh, I want to achieve this in my life. Okay, how can we get to that? Together we get to that. But mainly it always comes from the other person. I'm not guiding like 1, 2, 3. No, some advice could be, but it's the other person that is opening the little windows. And together from these windows, we make it a whole path. And it's to understand this thing. What is not working for you? What is working for you? We keep it. It doesn't work, we don't keep it. So it's realizing, the roots of what are your dreams for your own life. So this is more, my part. And the conversations, which is for me huge, the most important aspect is first this conversation with yourself to clarify. I have conversations with myself all the time. I mean, Vanessa doesn't wonder anymore. She hears me talk. She says, it's okay, but it's, of course, I'm joking with it. I'm a silent inner conversationist. Yeah, to say, is this working for me? Do I really feel happy right now? What is it that I want today? Because very often, okay, of course, we make dreams for our life, but we never know when is this ending. Could be, unfortunately, tomorrow or now. I hope not now. We still need to finish the podcast. But but yes, what do I need right now to feel happy? Now, what can I do? What's in my control to do?
I love that. Were you going to continue, or did I interrupt you?
I wanted to add another part, but please go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, because yesterday I spoke to an individual that coaches, or he doesn't coach, but he talks about what he calls creating kick-ass lives for elder people. And he himself he's still alive, a 68-year-old man. And it made me think of him when you were what you were saying, because you have to find your own paths, and you can't follow the main road all the time, because sometimes you have to do your own little path into the woods, and it may be dangerous, it may be difficult, it may be scary, but in the end you're going to come out into this beautiful field with flowers and butterflies, and then it's all going to be worth it. And it really resonated with me what you said. So you can continue what you were going to say.
I just wanted to add my other part of conversations, that is after having, first of all, the conversation with yourself, but this is the first step, and then the conversation with others. Approaching others with compassion and love and patience, and saying, this is what I want. This is what I need. And then ask, how can we make this work? Depending on how close you are with the other person, how much your lives are really depending on each other or something. And what is it that you want? These conversations that we never make, because we think someone would understand, even if we are not clear. So if we want someone to hear us, first we need to talk to them and take this moment and say, I need to talk to you about something. I need to explain what is it that I need. And then I want to hear what is it that you need. But only these conversations can bring, such a relief and such beautiful feelings of, let's do this together. And not assuming, this is the worst thing, assuming what others think of us or whatever of us. But if we have these conversations and we clarify what is it that we need, we have so much more opportunities to reach that result. More clear we are in what we are asking, more possible it is that we will get it. So this is my approach, to encourage these conversations and increase the self-care of taking care of yourself and asking yourself so many questions.
It's super interesting and important too. I think a lot of people miss out on or doesn't really know how to have this conversation, both with themselves but also in their surroundings with friends and family and close ones. So I think it's great what you're doing. And the other part is something that you know more about.
The body. So when we want to be happy, we also want, one part of it is that we are also happy with even our, how we look like, appearance, exactly, thank you, and how we feel inside, if we have pain or not, for example, if we feel strong or not, fit or not. So what I would like to help you with is finding or becoming, creating this body that you feel comfortable in and that fits to how you feel. And for this, there are different aspects. I mentioned already nutrition, which is important, where I think the most powerful tool I've met so far is mindful nutrition, that mindful eating, that you really feel or you are aware of how it feels when you eat, that you get aware of how does it feel when I'm hungry, how does it feel when I'm satisfied, and how does the food taste when I eat more than I actually need. This is one part, and then the other part is I really believe that the human being is made to move and not to sit all day, and that if someone is not moving, it means that this person has not found the right activity yet. This could be one part, so we could find out what is it that you would enjoy. Is it going for a walk in nature? Is it actually even going to a gym? Is it joining a soccer team or playing badminton or whatever? This is one aspect. And now with this neurocentric approach that I mentioned before, it could be also that you're missing some capabilities. For example, I had a huge deficit in my balance system, like the vestibular system that is located like in the ears, and also to one part of the so-called old brain that made me just move less well, and let's say in some parts a bit clumsy, and let's say not the fastest one. So I always, or I didn't like very much these activities that involve agility. But now I improved these systems. They work already much better. And now I'm even thinking of, maybe I could join a new sports team to play with balls. Or for example, maybe even catching a ball. When did you do this the last time?
Right.
If you're not a handball player or something.
Right. What you said about finding that humans aren't made to sit around all day in an office chair, I think it's really true. And finding, like you said, finding the sport or physical activity that you personally like and that works for you, I think it's so important. Personally, when I was younger, I can't remember, but 13, 14, 15, something like that, I wasn't overweight, but I was quite heavy. And at that time, like, video games was all my life. And it was a lot of fun. I still play a lot of games, but what I didn't have was the physical activity. And throughout the years, I tried everything from football to skiing to running to all these different sports. I can't remember too many of them now, but I know there was a lot of sports I tried. None of them really worked for me. I thought it was so boring. Football, I remember I did for like 1 month, and it was so boring. But eventually, over time and through the years, eventually my mom asked me if I wanted to join her for a run, because both my mom and dad is very physically active, and mom runs a lot. And so she asked, "Do you want to come out for a run?" And I was like, "No, I definitely do not want to come for a run." But then she asked again and again and again. And eventually I did say, "Yeah, okay, sure. Why not?" And sure enough, it was horrible. I did not have any kind of physical endurance. But with time, I went for another run. She asked me again and again and again. And after a few months, I was running longer distances. I was starting to enjoy it. And now, to this day, I still run every single day. And it's literally such a huge part of my personality. If I don't run, I start every morning by running, and if I don't run in the morning, I'm gonna have such a shitty day. Like,
Yeah, I can understand this.
yeah,
A
and
lot of good stuff is happening while running.
exactly, and yeah, it's so important to me, and I think a lot of people miss out on physical activity because when you aren't working out, whatever kind of style that is, whether it be just going for walks, like you said, in the nature, or if it's hardcore rugby workouts, it's still so important because, I mean, I'm sure both of you know so much more about this than I do, but I mean, even for the mind, and like there's so many good things happening when you're working out. And I don't know the specifics, but I know that there is a lot of good chemicals being produced while working out. And yeah, I think, how do we, this is completely spontaneous, but how can we get more people to work out or to move their ass? Because obesity is definitely a problem, growing problem in a lot of countries. And yeah, it's a shame because a lot of problem would be solved by moving their body. So how would you say, I don't know if you have an answer at all to it, but how would you say that you can, or we can make people to move more than they do?
I think one part would be to inspire each other. I see as my responsibility also to inspire our clients to move more. As a coach, you always have this role of the accountability partner. So, and for running, as you said, just as an example, the first run you didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy my first run either. I needed somehow the technology. I had this such a food pod. This was in the time before of the smartphone that would measure my distance. So like measuring and seeing numbers. This is the computer scientist in me. Helped me somehow to motivate me. And so for individuals, we need to find what is motivating them. What would be their why? And this is also where the mind coaching could help. At the end, one why could be out of love to myself, I'm doing it. And with running, for example, I think there is no one who ever enjoyed the first run. At least I cannot believe it, because it's really hard. You don't have the endurance. You start, you want to stop after 200 meters because you cannot breathe anymore. So maybe there are exceptions, but I totally share your experience. And somehow this technology helped me to continue until I really enjoyed it. And the other thing is, like, often when I had difficulties to motivate myself for a workout, either in the gym or running, was getting this feeling of how I would feel afterwards, which is so amazing. And this would also drive my motivation. I would say, okay, right now I feel lazy and I want to just stay on the couch or in the bed. I'm also more a morning runner. But if I go out, I will be so happy afterwards and grateful to myself that I went for this one. And then you can think the hardest step is just the first one.
Yeah.
And then it's easier.
Yeah, I remember I've successfully gotten my girlfriend to start running too. Since running is such a big part of my life, she didn't at all like running from the beginning, and I don't know how much she's enjoying it now, but she's enjoying it more than from the beginning, at least. And like going from not being able to continuously run 1 kilometer to now running like 5-6 kilometers successfully, that's a big step and a big success, I guess, in lack of other words. And you two combine the mind and the body, which essentially is what you need in order to live a completely happy and healthy life. And you speak a lot about self-care, both for the mind and the body. But what is self-care to you? And I'm sure both of you have different answers to this, but whoever wants to go first can go first.
What does self-care mean to us?
Yeah.
Okay, so I answer first. We're trying to exchange one you and okay.
Yeah, go on. Maybe I had something.
I don't think you will find any gaps in my answer.
Okay.
So self-care. I will tell you what I think it has. What is so self-care is self-love, of course. It's absolutely the same. It's showing to myself that I appreciate myself, that I love myself, that I value myself. Okay, so it's about reflecting, putting this mirror, closer, 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 closer. So I see even inside of me, inside of my mind, my heart, my body. It's about taking care of myself in a way that, usually we take so much care of others. We take care of our girlfriends. Did you eat today? Did you sleep well? All of these. And we don't even ask ourselves, did I eat well? Did I sleep well? Because we're so, which one doesn't exclude the other. I can still, of course, care about the others around me, which of course I do, but also to not forget to ask ourselves. And I have come to this conclusion that how we are treating ourselves is, at the end, is a choice. It's a pure choice. When we are born, and we were in our little mommy's belly, before getting born, we were so cozy, warm. We were with our little arms holding ourselves, like almost hugging ourselves. We're there, and it's so nice. But I'm taking care of myself already there. I'm like this. And then I grow, I get out of my mom's belly, of this protection. And once I start to use my brain and think more of judgment or negative thoughts or, this little sabotaging thoughts, I start, to go against myself for some reason. And what we don't realize is the moment we are starting to think more clearly and have these negative thoughts is that we have been paired with ourselves for our whole life. It's you and you, okay? It's me and me. Yeah. And I keep throwing rocks to myself, like, you didn't do this well. You don't deserve love. Or, oh, they left you again. Oh, yes, of course. What do you expect? We're against ourselves. But it's like as if you're at work and you have a coworker, and your boss tells you, you know what? You're gonna work with this person for a year. Oh no, and you don't like that person. So it's like you and you don't like yourself. It's the same with this collaborator. You have to work together. So you have a decision. Either we make this relationship work through patience and support and, let's see how we can make this work together, or it's gonna be like a nightmare every day for both of us. It's the same thing when you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, oh no, it's you again. Then you have a choice. Is this what I want right now? This is who I am. This is how I look like. These are my features. Of course, some stuff we can control and change, but so many others, no, because this is how nature made us. This is it. And we can still appreciate and love ourselves no matter the features, because this is purely the appearance. So.
Yeah, and how can we do that though? Because personally, I feel very happy. I'm happy with myself. And there's a lot of people that's definitely not happy with themselves and how they look, how they act, how they, what they do, and so on and so on. Personally, I've actually never, at least that I can remember, I've never struggled with like being happy with who I am and what I do, because I know that I work very hard on what I want to achieve. And if I do that, if I work my very best on what I want, then that's all I can do. And there's no room for complaints because I know that I'm doing what I can. And from experience of talking to other people, friends, family, and and so on. I've realized that that kind of view, at least in my experience, is quite rare. There's not a lot of people that have that outlook on themselves and on life. There's always this pressure of being something else, being something more, or whatever it is. So how, I mean, I'm sure this is a conversation in itself, but how can we accept, like you said, how can we accept this is how I look, I can't change my nose, I can't change my cheeks. I mean, there's surgery, but yeah, how can we accept these things, both physically and mentally?
I think there are like two words that are beneath or the foundation for everything, and one is actually it's three words: unconditional love towards yourself at first, and also compassion. And from this, they are deriving many other things. Like if you are compassionate towards yourself, you won't judge yourself anymore. If you make mistakes, you would say it's okay, because everyone is making mistakes. We are not, we're just human beings. So, and if we are not happy with something, we can also say it's okay. I can change this attitude and say I'm fine. I love myself even with the wrong cheeks or whatever. Or if it is about other things like I love myself even though I didn't run a half marathon below 2 hours yet. But then there are also things like this example where I can also decide to work on. So if we add optimism to it, that if we want to change something because it is important to us, that we will be able to do it, and that we can find the right approach to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. And yeah, most important that we don't beat ourselves for not achieving something fully, but also acknowledging that we have, let's take this example again, that we have improved our time by 5 minutes, or that we went through and just enjoyed the run, which is, in my opinion, even more important than the time at the end.
Yeah.
So I think it's unconditional love and compassion. And meditation can help to achieve this.
Yeah. Would you say, because I recently spoke to another individual that he had a very short and abrupt way of looking at acceptance and I guess self-improvement, because he as a person, he was very blunt. He was super blunt. He told me a story about how one time he has a very special relationship with his doctor, and one time when he visited this doctor of his, the first thing he said was, "You gotten really fat. You're a fat fuck," he said. And you can interpret that as you want and react however you would like to. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to react to it. But in his opinion, he believes that there's a certain room for, or a need for, harsh wake-up calls. And the reason I think of this is because both of you seem to have a very compassionate and understanding and loving view on people, on humans. And I share that view, I do. But just to play the devil's advocate here, do you think that there is a room for, or a need for, sometimes harsh wake-up calls, and that you can't always be this super understanding and compassionate person, and sometimes you just have to slap them in the face, so to speak? Do you think there's room for that?
So the thing is, we need to wonder before going to if we are harsh or not, if we will be or can be harsh. I'm pretty sure we can be harsh, but the approach is still compassion. The thing is, I want to wonder, why is someone postponing his effort? Why he's not committed? Instead of saying, you didn't do this, for instance, is I'm noticing that repeatedly you said you would do it and you're not doing it. What's going on there? There is a reason someone is not doing it. Of course. They don't do it just to piss us off, of course. But there is a resistance, and we need to dig about this resistance. The resistance could be because it's not fun. It's too hard. Of course, because nobody wants to hurt, to suffer. But we need to clarify what's on the other side after the suffering and focus on that with tiny goals. Because if I want to go from here to 100 meters, whatever that is, running or goals in life, and I push you to go to this 100, maybe you can't. Maybe you need 1 meter at a time, but each meter is closer to your goal. And I prefer you do 1 meter rather than 0 meters. It's still a success. And we all have a different, time response. You could be super excited and empowered and say, yes, give me more stuff, I can do this. And you do. And others that are not ready yet. And already one little step is a big victory. And we will cheer this person as if they've done 100 steps. Because this is the compassion part. It's not that no matter what someone is doing, oh, you failed again, oh, that's okay. No, that's not it. But let's see why you cannot commit. What is holding you back from there? You can do this, even a tiny step. And once someone starts these steps, it's something like the engine starts, because more you achieve, better you feel. You feel better about yourself, and you say, oh, look, I've done these 3 steps. That wasn't so hard at the end, So this is how we keep the momentum going, step by step, tiny victory at a time.
It's setting you up for success. Yeah. And with the other approach, of course, it's also about talking directly if something is not good or not working or whatever. But what you told me about this other person, I was just thinking that this could be also dangerous, especially if you don't know the other person. You don't know what is it that the other person needs. I mean, maybe it's a very fragile person, and okay, you see maybe this huge overweight of this person. But if the person knows about it, so what's the benefit of telling it to this person? You will probably hurt the other person even more. And I think this is not really helpful. There might be, there are personalities where this works. Like so in sports, some coaches are like very strict, and some athletes need that you shout at them, so they will get this attitude of, I will show you how good I am, and it will fire them up. But then there are other athletes, if you shout at them, they get completely lost and lose their self-confidence, and they won't perform well. So I think it's also our responsibility to find out what type of personality is our client and talk according to their personality.
Right. Yes, you believe in a more compassionate harshness. Is that a good word of putting it?
Yes, but really the thing is, I don't believe with a lot in harshness. I don't want it for myself, and I don't give it to others. Even if someone says, oh, I'm so lazy to do that. I don't believe in laziness. There is a reason you don't do it. Is it because you're too tired? Is it because you're afraid you will suffer by doing it, or whatever that is? I really believe in not digging into what happened 30 years ago or whatever. No, but dig right now as if I am the dog in the garden trying to hide his little bone, tick, 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 and he's gonna put the bone. And I just wanna uncover this tiny piece of soil to see, okay, what is the reason right now? What is holding you back right now? There is a reason. That's it, just to uncover it. And if someone brings resistance and resistance and resistance despite our approach and support, it's simple. They are not ready for that. You cannot force someone to move forward if they don't feel that now it's the right moment. And we will tell them, we do tell them that right now, maybe it's not the time for you. You are not suffering enough sometimes,
Yeah, exactly. The other thing, I think that we get the wake-up calls from life.
Yeah.
These are the real wake-up calls, situations, stuff that is happening to us.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I'm sure we could dig a lot deeper in that, but there's looking at the time. There is other things I want to touch on too, and so jumping from one thing to another, you living as a lesbian couple in 2020. I mean, the year 2020, we have moved a lot further than we were a couple of years ago, but there's obviously a lot of hate and what's the opposite of understanding? In a lot of individuals, in a lot of groups and society. Yeah, and personally, at least right now, I don't have any friends that are on the spectrum of LGBT.
LGBT.
Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of letters. And so I can't even imagine how it is to live as a person like that and potentially be at the other end of hate. And so I want to understand, and if any of you have experienced any kind of hate or misunderstandings or problematics, even in personal life or as a public person. What's your experience through that?
You wanna? Do you know? Do you have your answer?
Yes, I have it ready.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So first of all, I think we can be very grateful that we're living in such a peaceful country, or I would say most countries in Europe are similar in this. Like we can go through the city and we can take each other's hand. And in most situations, let's say 95%, I feel safe doing this. But I have also heard of other male students in Zurich that would say, I don't dare to do this because I'm afraid that I will get a punch in the face. So obviously, even here in the safe country, Switzerland, and like Germany, Sweden, I don't know, there are still places where you might feel not safe in showing who you are. And otherwise, I'm really out completely. I don't hide anymore. I did this for too many years. And so I also don't think a lot about at work or so on, but I have friends that are not out in their company. And then, they think, to whom can I share my private life? So these are usually these topics that we have. And since you asked about hate that we might have experienced personally, mostly I think it's it's nothing personal, I guess. But and from my side, I would say it's more coming from men that I think they are hurt in their ego, that they feel rejected in their masculinity, I would say. And like asking you, that means that you never, you had not have sex with me. That's why you are with a woman, to summarize it.
Why do you think that is, that men, like you say, sometimes, or I'm sure in a lot of cases, take offense in being rejected because that person has a different sexuality? Because I mean, I can't even imagine personally, like, why would that be a problem? I mean, sometimes that's life. There's different.
Yes, but
humans.
The people, these heterosexual men that think this way, obviously have more deep issues than just that. Okay, this is just a signal of other underlying issues of ego and
exactly the umbrella word would be the ego that they are.
The hunter's ego that they want to have everything, but obviously the people that are feeling fine with themselves and they have their own relationships and their wives or whatever, or girlfriends, or even on their own being single, that feel fine with themselves, they don't need to prove anything. So
Then I was also thinking that if I think of these male students, these gay students, they didn't fear that a woman would come and punch them in their face. They would also fear other male colleagues or people on the street. So
Okay, it's the fear of the threat that something bad can happen to them, to gay guys that are together and working around the city, or to lesbian women, because of course it's a matter of power. Of course we are afraid. This is clear. This is something that never leaves. But okay, to not go there because it's a huge topic. Okay, we women, we are somehow born and live our life having a threat. We know that. If it's two women or one alone walking in a dark alley, after 10 o'clock at night, no matter where you are, in the most civilized country in the world or the most threatening city in the world, we still have a chill in the back that, I hope there won't be anyone attacking me. This is how it is. And I guess also gay guys maybe get, because of their feminine part, also get this threat possibly. Because it's true, they can be threatened as well.
Yeah.
But I believe that we need to show, of course, not if our life is threatened, but in cities that it's more flexible and we feel that people are more friendly, we need to show more affection, walking around and holding hands. And if we feel like kissing a bit, it's also good to educate others that, this is the normal. Because if we just keep hiding, how will others, they don't even know we're there. We could be walking like ghosts between other people. But if we show it and we let it appear, okay, first time it will be strange. Someone will say, oh, look, here, the two girls kissing. But if you see that 50 times, you won't even notice anymore. Right. I think we also have the responsibility for that.
Yeah, true. It's also this,
Yeah, and that sort of leads into another thing I want to touch on before. I think that has to be the very last thing we touch on. But how you speak of showing and making it less special, I guess, is one way to have a conversation around it. But there being so many views in the world on sexuality and all the other topics too. How can we have a conversation around sexuality and lifestyles like this is? Because like I mentioned in the very beginning of our conversation, there is a lot of hate and a lot of misunderstanding and not understanding other people's views and other people's views on life. And so how can we start having a conversation on a topic that's so emotional? And there's obviously, for good reasons, a lot of emotions, a lot of the times boiling inside when talking about these subjects. So how can we manage these emotions and have a proper conversation that leads to something better?
I think the first thing we have to do is to push our egos aside. And for those that feel negative emotions like anger, they can think of, is it really anger that I'm feeling now towards this person that has a different sexuality than me? Or maybe is it a fear? So I think, do I feel threatened? And that's why I'm reacting so aggressive. So that leads to the second word, that is like mindfulness, to look into ourselves and to start to listen to the other person and just keep our mouth shut, listen to the other person, what this person has to say, and at the same time feel inside, observe our inside, what is going on with me, and not just being outside and trying to attack the other person. And I think in this way we can also increase the understanding. Then maybe the other person gets the opportunity to explain some things that will then reduce this threat. Hence, I don't need to be aggressive anymore.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, because a lot of the time, like you say, you have to ask yourself, why am I reacting in this specific way? And then if you know why you're reacting, then you can make a decision on and on how you want to react based off of that.
But
it's
for
great.
this, we have to put aside the ego.
Yeah.
But I really believe also that the people that have this anger in judging you for your choices, I strongly believe that behind this anger is also that I didn't allow myself to live my life as I wanted, and I don't want you either. Because I suppressed what I wanted to do, no matter what that is. Could not be only sexuality, could be, anything.
I wanted to be a doctor, and my father told me I have to become an engineer. Now I'm an engineer and
I'm unhappy.
hate my job.
Yeah, hate my job, hate my life, hate my parents, hate everybody. So I don't think that someone that hates someone, now we talk sexuality, but couldn't be anything, any feature. It could be nationalities, could be religion, could be whatever that is. It's still hate towards someone else's choices at the end. So for me, behind that is also, if I focus on myself, I'm the one who hates right now, okay? I focus on myself. Again, self-care. What do I want? What do I need in life to be happy? Because once even the person who is actually not even, especially the person who has these negative feelings, if they turn the mirror towards themselves and look closer, what is it that you want in life? What is it that you want to achieve or you don't want to have, or you are not that, whatever that imposed by society or your parents or whomever, is then by focusing on yourself, you have no reason to hate anybody. Because if I'm happy, I want you to be happy as well. Right. So just that for me, it's this anger hides other stuff there, clearly, towards ourselves. Nobody, we don't care. Who cares if two men are in love? What's my problem? If I'm unhappy, then of course I don't want you to be happy either. If I feel I'm in jail my whole life, I'm walking freely, but I feel like I'm in jail, that's my problem. That's my situation. Why should I want others to be the same, to be imprisoned like that? So once I'm happy, I want others to be happy too.
Yeah, that's a very understanding view. And that's a great point to end it on as well. A positive point. But before we do that, I want to leave a space for you two if you want to promote anything, a website, book, whatever you have.
Thank you so much. So yes, we want, first of all, for whomever is listening, we would like to offer a 30 minutes coaching session. Anyone who would like some support, okay? You would think 30 minutes, that's it. Well, only thinking of what we covered in 1 hour, even in the first 30 minutes was already a lot of interesting things, I think. So 30 minutes, it's already a very good starting point to any topic, irrelevantly of sexuality or anything. We don't care at all. Whatever you want, 30 minutes. And our website, thecomingoutcoaches.com.
Yes.
And my new site, because I made my own little project, but okay, Vanessa is next to me all the time. It's called mslifecoach.com. So this is to offer support in a little bit more personalized approach for individuals that are living with multiple sclerosis, as well as their loved ones that wish to get some support on how to feel better themselves and how to support also their loved one that is living with MS. So also you can find us on Facebook at our page, The Coming Out Coaches, Instagram, The Coming Out Coaches. So what do you think?
Yeah,
we covered.
We invite you to just check out our website if you want to know more about us.
Yes.
Or our approaches and our offer.
Or questions, or chat, or become friends. We are very, very happy to get to meet new people and see what are the challenges and how can we support. So
wonderful. And the person listening to this will, of course, find all the links in the description to wherever the person watching or listening this is finding it. And so with that said, thank you for first of all wanting to speak with me, and also for the conversation that we had, because I thought there was a lot of value and a lot of interesting topics. So thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you so very much.